Hi there, good people. It's been a minute since I've been on here, but there are some things that need to be deeply thought about. For instance, why would you have the mindset that you have to war or fight against anything? That's my thought. You know, why would you feel the need that you have to war against something when that is not of your nature, of who you are? But there is, unfortunately, something in the earth that we have to that is caused the need to to make us think that we need to fight something, to preoccupy us from our greatness, which if your nature should be able to tell you what it is. Your nature guides you. Your nature is your first leader. This is the way I feel about it. And when someone has disrupted or disturbed your nature, that is a problem. That is the problem. Disturbed, disturbed or dis. There's some things that like I said about disturbing your nature of who you truly are, who you were, pure in the pure sense. So when I hear things like from black people who are in the church and stuff like that, they talk about, they'll say things about themselves like, I'm greedy. This is just self talk that you can hear through the church. You hear bad things, you hear all the negative connotations they say about themselves. um and I don't get how you could be greedy when you're more needy, when you've been put in a position, but you're taught in the church about greediness. But you got to know who you taught that by, who that lesson comes from, who all lessons come from, and what we deal with in this life. It's not pure. There's no purity in what we've had to learn in this, in our captivity, in this place that we've been in, gauging in, that has made us to the point, many of our people, to the point where we honestly blame the victims. We blame each other. We blame our people. We blame ourselves for everything, as if we could have came out from underneath of this somehow. And then spells get cast. And yeah, I get frustrated I get frustrated. But the thing about it is, it's not my nature to have an adversary and to care about an adversary or be concerned about an adversary. My nature is to be in my power. You know, my ancestors never gave up. They were determined, and so am I. I'm very determined. They moved forward. All the things that they had done against them, they still got back up and they still moved forward. They didn't turn around and fight nobody. No, you don't have to do that. That's going to take care of itself, because the if you have a mind of war, eventually you're going to war against your own self. Eventually you're going to kill out your own self. Eventually you're going to be, it's just craziness. Eventually it's going to destroy you. If you're a destructionist and that's all you do is go around and destroy people that don't even have means to bother you, or don't even try to attempt to bother you, but you go where they're at and you want to destroy them and war with them, innocent people, then that's your problem. And that's what you're going to have to deal with. That's not the people's problem. The people's problem is allowing it, empowering you, empowering that person, and allowing that person to come into their domain to do such things to them. Instead of living in your powers to keep that out, to keep that mindset out. I don't get how they can say, how you could say these things, these made up things about yourself, not when you don't even know, but you're repeating what you were taught. How do we repeat what we're taught? I mean, it's normal in the space that we're in. They call it normalcy to repeat, but there's a time when you have to, you should have this urge to come off from that and look back at that. People that talk like that, they talk about, I'm a greedy, I'm this, without him, without Jesus, without a male. You're talking about a man, and then the very church will talk about man is this and man is that, but they turn around and they have a man, Jesus, that they look up to. And I'm asking myself, why a man? Of all things, why? I'm still asking, why a man? But then on the same breath, they will say, thank thank Jesus, thank him, Heavenly Father, referring to a masculinity. It's always this, you know, it doesn't make sense. When somebody wake up and see what it is all about, that is, you can't make it make sense. If alcohol and churches are more accessible than food and good sense and good education and good science, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? I know what it tells me. It tells me that this is something that's got a stronghold on the people. It's minds really badly. And they will fight you tooth and nail for everything that they hold dear to. And it makes them so blindsided. They're not able to hear themselves, the true Christ within themselves. They're not able to have a higher thought process where they could go about living in a way making great decisions. It, this is why church and alcohol and marijuana and all the other bad things are easily accessible, but clean water, fresh food, health things for your body are not accessible as those wicked, evil things are. There's a church everywhere, there's a liquor store everywhere. So there's mind control. They even give you a variety of your poison that you want to take. Hmm. Mm-mm-mm. I am not greedy. I am needy. I'm a needy being. And no one can have me in a church talking about I'm greedy. I need Jesus. He needs to take the him take the steering wheel from me and guide me and lead me down the highway to heaven. No way, Jose. No way. And then mm, 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 mm. And then mm-mm, hold on. You hear it's just like I said, if we how do okay, the devil and God. The devil and God. You have been taught. No one should have to naturally be taught in a book about a devil and a God. Because it's talking about ourselves, who we are. Who we are. And there's nothing wrong with who being human. It's nothing wrong with having a good and a bad side. It's science. But you let your enemy teach you, your enemy will teach you in a way for you to do self-destruct. That it'll be easy for them to go about their lives. While you hung up on good and evil and thinking there's some invisible God and some invisible devil when the devil is right in front of you every day. You face every day. So you're busy paying attention to um sometimes you're busy paying attention to the physical devil and the invisible devil. And sometimes you make up excuses and say that, oh, that's just the devil. And you know, when empowerment starts with you, it starts with me. My empowerment is very critical to me. The battle is not necessarily outside of me. The war I don't have to war with anything outside of me. I have to deal with me and whether or not, what am I doing? Am I empowering something that I don't know that is not good for me? But I've been tricked into thinking that it is good for me when it's not benefiting me. It's just like the music, our entertainment. We gave power over our talents, our gifts, and now they can angle it and control it how they want, to use it as mind control or whatever they need to use it for, to calm the people publicly, whatever they need to distract you. It's all kinds of ways they can use what we have. Self empowerment is very critical. Let's focus on this thing that they call the devil, which doesn't exist, and the God that doesn't exist outside of us. And more focus on self empowerment, which is critical. Instead of asking for reparations, we take our reparations. Our ancestors they took, they took it. They took what was theirs and benefited from it. Unlike the Caucasian who runs around now talking out the side of their neck about pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and they don't even have boots themselves, but they want you to pull yourself up by some bootstraps. After they stole the ancestors' bootstraps, they want to tell us, the audacity to tell us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, right? Hmm? And then the church, they'll say man is this, man is that, but then they worship in a man. Everything is him, his. God is a he. Jesus Christ is a he. You know, it's crazy. Make it make sense. You see, that's not self-affirmation, saying all those bad things about your existence. It's very bad negativity, especially as black people, when we have been put in a situation. um you should be angry. They shouldn't be singing hallelujah in church. If they knew the setup, they would be outraged, totally outraged, but they're not. And then that outrage will move you, just like it moved the ancestors. It moved the ancestors to build for themselves, to focus on themselves, to love themselves, to be loyal to self, to work together, and not allow themselves to be divided. Be strong, build a great culture. But here, we're in a space where um, we don't even have our own struggles for ourselves. We can't even have our own struggles for ourselves. Others want to think that they can assist us in our struggles. Those who some of our people empowered to come to the barbecue, or empower to sing our music and to engage in our culture, engage in our lifestyle. The same thing happens over and over again. Some people think that America is when the racism started. Racism has been around even in the ancient days. It since day one, since these people were on the planet. You got to understand. You got to understand the psychology. And as a child, I understood, oh well, too well, the psychology of these people. I mean, as a child, I was that smart to be able to pick up the psychology. It wasn't that hard. It really isn't that hard to do that. But they gave you your religion. They gave you your backwards religion. That's why they call it religion. You're stuck in a circle doing the same thing over and over again and trapped in their science of time and space. And not understanding the etymology of this language, the words, but understanding the etymology of the words in this language that we speak, English, will help you to guide you back to your true thought and your true language. As I talked about before, they they gave words negative, you know, meanings, some bad meanings. When your mind, our mind and their mind, they have a struggle with um they have battles, they have struggles. So any words they put in the English language are pretty much a destruction of destruction. They built that. They put that there. And they were never ever ones that should be doing things like that. But being taught the science, being that they were taught the science, they are limited by their nature at that time. I'm telling you, your nature is everything. Your nature is everything. Your nature, our nature formulated our language. We formulated all of this stuff comes from our DNA. Words, we're high vibrational beings. And the ancients when they formulated speaking and the sounds, it came from within. I love Martin Luther King for the point of him saying, judge not by the color, by the outside of a person, but judge by the inside of a person. And you really have to know the inside of a person. Especially trickery is real out here. Trickery is real. So, one thing we never did as a people is judge by the outside. We love everybody. We're that's just our nature. Unless some of us, unless if you do something like the things that have been done to our ancestors, not all of our people are such loving, forgiving people on that. And that's why I said the fact that we were given religion and our people can't see, they still, Christian church, they believe that, man man will destroy everything that they need, but yet Jesus is a man. And they made God a man too. But it's a true statement. It's a true statement. Man will, but because man's understanding is limited. Man's understanding is limited. The masculine men that roam the earth, understanding is limited. Not all. I'm not going to say all men, but the majority who fall for the Democratic stuff, the majority that fall for any of this politic stuff, the majority that are not conscious, not aware, of course, they're limited. That's what they call it. Those who think that racism started with America, no, it didn't. It's been we it's literally like a sci-fi movie, and they give it to you in sci-fi movies where time travelers are being followed each place they go to settle. They're followed, and then something is trying to destroy them. That's literally our people. Anywhere we've gone, we've been found and we've been destroyed. Because of who we are, what we are, and why we are. We're about the most how do I say, peaceful people on the earth. We're the most peaceful people on the planet. Pleasant, peaceful, loving, joyful. people on the planet. But when you told negative ideologies and words about yourself, that's what you fed. GMO. But damn it, churches are on every corner, and so is alcohol liquor stores. But you can't get fresh food. You don't have resources. And they can make you have disdain for yourself by living in the system that they created and trying to have what they call equality. Equality is something that you do not want. You do not want their equality. You do not want on that level because this is what you get. This is what you get. It's like you're high up and then you have a little something underneath of you begging you to come down a little bit lower, and you kindness of your heart you come down a little bit lower. They pull you all the way down, and then you begging to be equal to them. You literally begging to be equal to them after they done pulled you off your heights from your heights. And it's not that height that you were at was your natural height that you were supposed to. That's where you can function on. You can't function on the low level because that low level is going to be unfair. They're going to call it equality, and they're not going to. They're going to do. They're going. You're in their control. You're under their control, basically. Hey, General Mosquito, welcome. Yeah, you're under their control because we're too nice. We're, like I said, we're the most pleasant and peaceful people on the planet. You notice that, we don't go to war. They come over and mess in African countries. Everybody has to have guns because of them. Because of them and their complexity, their issues. Their issues is now the world's issues. It's now all of our issues, right? Right. Because, but you know what? There's a time when we need to, nobody can give, there's certain things that people can't give us as individuals, right? And we have to recognize and get those things for ourselves. We have to get those things for ourselves. We have to work in a way to move off that level that they pulled us down to and pull ourselves higher back to where we can function. back to where we can function. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Hmm. So, our music is a form of controlling us. So is our entertainment. And it's used against us in many aspects. So it's very critical because those who are not trying to educate themselves, they're just going to be left behind. You can't waste time with those who don't want to be aware of the truth around them. They don't want to be aware of the illusion that they're living in. So move on. We move on. You have to move on for your own survival, your own sake. And you're not supposed to be attached to anything, anyways. We're not supposed to be attached because we each are a ball of energy, a star. We all are that. And that runs free. That runs free. To release ourselves from this place that has us held down in many, many ways, have us held down and preventing us from accomplishing what we come here for. And that's recognizing your greatness and what you contribute to your people, for your people. had millions of dollars, I would bet millions of dollars on our children and their abilities, those who we safeguard from a lot of this crazy stuff that is happening to our people. Those children that we safeguard and that are born ready and knowing who they are and ready to do what they are sent to do. I would bet you $1 million upon them that they would be the ones to build up Africa, to build up America, to build up every continent on the planet and contribute to it, to life, the greatest gift that this planet, that the humanity could ever have, and that's the heaven. That's what they call heaven on earth. It would come from our people, our children. It wouldn't come from anywhere else because they don't have the ability. But our children would have that ability. They would be great scientists, great doctors, great people to help people, our people. Because, like I said, we have that ability. We've always had that ability. But it's always been destroyed. It's always been divided and it's always been separated so that that greatness cannot show. So that greatness wouldn't be any greater than what they call whiteness on the planet. So here we are with a church on every corner, liquor store on every corner, and no one is really standing up against that. Nobody's standing up in their powers against the things that we were told were right, but they're not right. We know they're not right. They're wrong. But yet they're still existing. The churches that come from slavery and trying to control the people's minds to keep them from retaliating against those who kept attacking. These folks never stopped attacking. That's the thing about it. You didn't have to raise your hands to them. You didn't have to do anything to them. They automatically were on the God and devil mindset. Automatically. They were the gods and somehow they made us, devils that they had to kill off just because of the way we look. And look, we don't do that. We don't look at someone because of the way they look. If we do, now I look at people for the way they look. That was programmed. Environmental influences through me and my people getting looked at for what we look like. So disloyal people cannot get that. They can't get the psychology of it all. Our disloyal people in our in our group that feel like it's better on the other side, because the other side, it is better on the other side. It's better on the other side because they stole everything. They killed people and they destroyed things. And I guess it would be better on the other side than it would be on our side. But that's when I say the force is with us, because the force within us will go to work for that purpose, because it's all science. I'm back. Mm-mm-mm. So basically, you know, it's all a part of empowerment. You're empowering something that you don't understand. Sorry about that. So, who cares really about the disloyal? Because the disloyal is defeated. They admit and they commit to their defeatness, while the rest of us live in our powers and we seek empowerment by stop allowing, just simply stop allowing it, allowing the conditions, allowing for everything. We just have to stop it, put a stop to it. And it's not hard. It's not going to war, because we're better and bigger than that. You can't compare us to them in any kind of form. It's just, it's laughable. It's laughable. Um because you are your people. You are your people, and there's no changing that. I'm my people. I know I'm my people who endured so much, and like, they are the people who committed so much. But what I'm not going to do is bow down and tell a white man that I'm greedy when the truth is I'm needy. I ain't never been greedy. I don't have a greedy bone in me. I don't have a greedy bone in me. If I did, I certainly wouldn't be. Um, we certainly wouldn't be in the situation that we're in if we were those bad things. You got to realize the bad things flourish in the air, right? The good things do not flourish. The good things need to flourish and trump over the bad things and trample the bad things and win the air back. That's what needs to happen. That's the truth. That's the truth. And it's just, you know, some of our people really, really are brainwashed when it comes to certain things. It's best sometimes if we sit back and we observe and get some understanding. But like I said before on my last video, I said people have different experiences. People have different kinds of environments. People learn differently. Preconceptions, perceptions, everything with the mind is different. Nobody thinks like, not everybody thinks. We don't all think alike. If we all thought alike, then that would be half the battle. But the minds of different people have been molded and made through different experiences and different things, factors, so many different factors at play, you know. That's why when you ask a white person, what does awaken mean? They don't want, it's not like they don't know. They know it's something against their lives. They know. Oh, they say, oh, they did that back then. It wasn't me. Come on. Come on. You wouldn't have the privilege or you wouldn't took the privilege to engage and, or should I say, embarge into and barge into another group of people's conversations unless you were that same ancestor of yours who feels it's their privilege to do as they please. It's their privilege to do as they please, to go and like they have the rights to everything. Like they have the rights to everything. And giving them the right to what our language and our spirituality to tell us that equality says that equality is you going into a church and thinking just like the people that gave you your ideology, but not ever knowing self, just what you were taught about self in a distressed position that our people were in at the time. A wrench like me. Why do you have to be a wrench when you didn't do anything to anybody? But now that you call yourself a wrench, you're going to be out on the streets selling drugs to your own people because that's what you think of yourself. That's the way they told you you were. That's the only, that's the limit. That's the glass ceiling. They won't let you above that glass ceiling of poverty. They say you greedy in the church when you're really needy of all people. See, those things don't apply to us, is what I'm saying. So how can you be on equal ground? How can you be on equal ground? Does anybody ever think about that when you've been preached this mess in church? You know, do you ever think, well, they hung and burnt and they killed and they lied and they stole and bombed and never ever did anything to make up for that? But they think they can smile in your face, let you have their women, and be buddies with you, have you in the politics, things that really, if you saw ahead of time back in the 1900s, you probably would have ran the other way and swam all the way to the water, go to Africa on your own. Damn the sharks. Damn the sharks and whales. Because you would have had smoke behind you. It would have been fire on your heels. If you knew, if you could envision back in the 1800s, early 1800s, 1700s, late 1600s, what where you would be, you would have said, damn the whales, damn the sharks. You would have caught a ride on the dolphin and had fire on your heels to get to somewhere else but this place. I'm telling you, it's a damn shame. Wretched. And you want to be wretched right along with it. You okay with the churches and the alcohol being free, but you're not accessible. But you're not, evidently you're not okay with the food being accessible because you're not trying to have accessible food when you have the abilities. I have the ability. You have the ability. I have the ability. We all have the ability to have free food growing on our trees in our backyards in our house, and we have the ability to change our eating habits from that which is killing us each day. We have so much power that we don't look at because we're too busy being taught about a God and Jesus. I mean, a God and a devil. And we're too busy caring about the white man and his white woman, who somehow black men see as kryptonite. Their weakness now, after they done made your women undesirable in so many ways with their commercials back when I was a young child. You know, every young girl, I know from my experience, we strive to look like that with shaky hair, loose hair, and um to look like that. It's called programming. Programming you to hate yourself, the way you look, programming your mind to be troubled, programming you to do things to yourself that will make you worse off, traumatize you more. And then they make your environment. But Biden says he doesn't care how you got that away. His problem is he doesn't want a jungle. He doesn't want a jungle. Well, I hate to break it to Biden, but he's the monkey in the jungle. And it's his jungle. I just want it moved from my sight because we don't have jungles. That's where he comes from, that has jungles. That's where his ancestors came from. They come from jungles. That's why they're so hooked on monkeys and jungles, because it's who they are. It's who they are. And they know it. That's why he can say that. It, projection is real. Projection is real. The delusional minds are real. They are real. The delusional minds is real. Formulating a world around us that was real. That's what they did to us. That's what they did to us. And it's not anything that we can't, as a people, but I know that a lot of our people don't like me saying we, because it's you know, it is what it is. It just goes back to, you can see the destruction. Nobody wants to be constructive, they want to be destructive. you know they don't want to live in the truth. They want, we live in a light. Unfortunately, we live in this light, and but we don't want to face it, the truth of the light that we living in. We want to keep thinking individually. You see, that's the problem. When you think individually, you crumble. You crumble. You can't feed off of each other's fresh food because you're too busy creating GMO. Because it's I, me. Bill Gates. But he is doing that for the collectives. Not necessarily. I don't know, but it seems like it. But it's still him, right? So it's what he can get out of doing what he's doing. His part. Hmm. But if we were to do something like that, be collective, it wouldn't be on the same level it wouldn't be on the level that they are at. It would be on a much higher level, but we don't know how to do that because we're on that level. See, we're on that equality, gig. We're on that equality gig. So we're on that level. And as long as we're on that level, thinking that we're white men and white women, instead of thinking higher than that, which our minds strive for naturally, we're on that equality. We're on that low level equality. That's all we want. That's all we ask for. Let black men have white women so they can get liberation. But like I said, as long as you strive for that, that's not empowerment. That's always going to be admittance to defeat, been defeated. Um, the feeling of defeatness, but the feeling of greatness, which our ancestors had, because hold on, because they got, they took what they needed. They literally took what they needed by putting their minds together, and they didn't put white sheets over themselves. Now we have nothing in this world, this damn world, to ever be ashamed of. We have nothing to ever be ashamed of. I can guarantee you that. We have nothing to ever be ashamed of because we never put white sheets over ourselves and said, "Mommy, I don't want anymore. I want noodles." Okay. We never, ever felt like we had to. I want those noodles. Although that they taught us about all that. They taught us about society and shame and all this and all that. But in society, we're the least people that have anything to be ashamed of. Because we never went out and killed people. So that we can build a land that we call whatever we wanted to name it. You dig? Walking up them stairs. So literally that makes us not really to have ever any reason on earth to be ashamed. We're the last people to be ashamed. The lower level people always have reason to be ashamed, but you'll never see them ashamed. You'll never see them ashamed because they're benefiting off of greatness, off the backs of greatness they're benefiting off of. And there's no shame in their game. But they want us to be ashamed of things. We have to be ashamed of little petty little things that they have built from their minds. Built from their minds. Mm-mm-mm. But the most serious things, nobody's been shamed over. You know. I live my life pretty much frustrated at a lot of things. So I'm happy for the most part. I'm appreciative. But at the same time, the more aware I become, the more frustrating everything looks and becomes. Because so I've had to take myself out of certain environments and certain things. Um, it's like being from another planet to me. You know, it's like being from a totally different planet. And that's okay with me. Really okay. Because I'm ready. I'll be ready, like Keith is always talking about when we got to get past the, I forgot what they call it, but when we go back to our spirit and go back to that light energy, we have to be able to bust out of this earth and out of this earth's universe, out of everything that is surrounding this earth. It's layers we have to bust through to escape this place. To escape this place. But I guess I'd be like that person that saw a few, from a mile away what things were gonna be like and just bust on through. Don't want to be trapped here any longer. You know, it's just crazy with hills on fire, fire on my hills. You know what I'm saying? It's just pure. I can't. I guess at the point that our people are made to think at such a low level and to believe in everything they told instead of examining for themselves what that really looks like. What does that really look like? Me being greedy. Is it me being greedy and not sharing everything? Or am I in need because I've had been, you know, kept from being able to have what I do need? Because I never seen greedy before. I never seen, thank goodness too. I guess it's thank goodness that oh no, I do see greedy. But it's a slick kind of greedy. The greedy that we deal with is is they give us a little bit and they expect us, the fact that they took everything away, they stripped us of everything. That's greed in itself, and the little tricks and of the trades that they try to go around doing to get more and to take control over resources and control over things. That's even greedy. The fact that they say white people and they secretly try to make it where white people are in control over a lot of things, and it's a state of greediness. But amongst my own people, I don't know no greediness because my own people don't own nothing. They don't. We don't have nothing to be greedy over. And if we did have, we'd be sharing. It's just our nature. Follow the nature. It always knows. It will always tell you. I'm not talking about this bullshit stuff like material things. I'm talking about if our people have, then they usually share. If they have everything they need, that's within nature, not all this materialistic made crap or money or stuff like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the real stuff that that you're not really paying attention to, that they're being greedy over. That's in They're being greedy over our ability to feed ourselves and to be independent people, like they are. They hog that to themselves and don't. And now that we want it equal and we're in with their group, you get in to see division amongst them, and that they even do that to themselves. So if they do that to themselves and you didn't know that, now we're engaged and they're doing it. They've been doing it and they always will do it and not stop doing it because it's their nature. It's their nature. We have really got to empower ourselves to do the things that are within our control. And we have things so much within our controls. But do we take advantage? Or do we usually go in it with bad mind, bad ideology, negative words that were given to us through education system, through the religion, you know, that took the place of our spirituality, you know. Well, I'm gonna go and get on out of here. I think I've been on here long enough, rambling on about this and that, because this and that is on my mind, and especially on this day. Um, I have to think about this programming and just how deep it is. And how can you call yourself all these bad things when you've never done any of these things? But the white man Jesus, it's been held on high. How the hell? I have to say, they need to get out of here with that mess. It's crap. It doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. So, with that said, true love, real peace, the higher self within the soul. Till next time, peace. Thank you for being here, General Mosquito and those in the clouds.